my name's Matt, and I'm doing a speech on hockey. Hockey is actually thought of as a game of Canadians and Northern Americans, but it does have influences all over the world. Um, since the 14th century was when it was first referenced, the game of hockey, and they believe it derived from a French word called hockey, and I'm probably butchering that word, but it means shepherd's stick. Over the last 150 years, hockey's actually come down from Canada into the United States, and it's actually gone all over the world. Today it's actually played in the Olympics. It's one of the Olympic Games. That's what I look forward to. There's actually hockey in Dallas. Some people don't know that. It's the bottom of the four major professional sports. It's the least popular. I think the reason of its lack of popularity is because people don't understand the rules. It also has some different things like fighting is tolerated. Other sports, they don't have that, unless you're watching boxing, of course. I'd like to explain some of the rules and some where the violence kind of fits in, and hopefully it kind of makes a little more sense. There's 6 primary rules of hockey. Some of them you can actually go to the box, which is actually called a penalty box. It's actually where someone has to go if they commit a penalty, certain penalties. There are 3 stick penalties. One is called slashing. A stick penalty just means you use a stick in order to commit the penalty. Slashing is when you actually come down with a stick, and you can either do that on another player's stick really hard, or you can do it on somebody's wrist. The wrist is obviously can be more dangerous. And hooking is the next no-no. Hooking is just how it sounds. You actually hook somebody with the stick. You can either hook their arm, you can hook their whole body. It's basically just kind of spins the person out of control. It's a no-no. High sticking is another penalty. High sticking is just how it sounds. Using your stick up here is a no-no, especially if you actually make contact with a player. You can cause injury to the face or neck, but you don't actually have a penalty where you go to the penalty box as long as you don't contact a player up high. But it just kind of stops the play and everything. There's 2 positional rules of hockey that are really important, and you see them all the time. Icing is kind of a delay of game. Icing is when, I have a board right here. Icing is there's 2 lines that are important for icing. It's this middle line and this line right here. They're both red. If a player has the puck and they just knock the puck all the way down, and the other opposing team gets the puck before your team gets the puck once it passes this line, that's considered icing. It's kind of like a delay of game. It means you're just kind of throwing it down there. There are instances when you're allowed to do that, like if you do have a penalty and you're short one man, you're allowed to ice it. It's not considered delay of game. You're just trying to get rid of the penalty. The other positional rule that they have is offsides. Offsides, you're not worried about that line. You're actually worried about this little blue line right here. It's actually blue. That blue line, what that means is that your players, before they can go in past that blue line and touch the puck actually has to be on this side of the line. If the puck actually comes out and goes back in, that means all your players must exit before you can go back in and touch the puck. So that's kind of confusing. A lot of people don't understand what's going on when that stuff happens, and that's just a couple of those positional rules. Okay, now fighting. That's what everybody looks forward to. There's kind of rules of engagement with fighting. There's an etiquette, a hockey etiquette with fighting. It's really not because of anger a lot of times. It's really more of a power thing. If somebody does something wrong that they're not supposed to, if somebody tries to hurt a player intentionally, such as a goalie or a really higher skilled player, there's enforcers on the team, the bigger guys that like to fight. They're the ones that kind of keep people in check. Especially your goalie. People really look after their goalies. There's actually some controversy on hockey. One of the biggest things is some people think it should be taken out of hockey. Because in the Olympics, they actually don't allow fighting. and if you do fight, you're kicked out, and you could possibly be kicked out of the Olympics completely. There's three different perspectives. One, hockey would be a totally different game. You'd have really big guys that could actually end up hurting some of the smaller skilled players. So I think it would take some of the skill out. But also, there's a perspective that if you get into a fight, you get a really stiff penalty, so it'll kind of keep people from doing it. Because there's really not, unless you really hurt somebody, it's really not bad penalties that you have to serve or anything like that. So there's three different kind of perspectives. Some people are for it, some people are against it. Some people say, hey, if there is some, then there should be consequences. So that's about it. But I hope everybody kind of understands the rules a little better. I hope people are a little more intrigued about the game because it's been around longer than football, longer than baseball, and I hope I've piqued some of your interest. The first step is knowing the rules. The second step is going to a game. So that's it. Thanks a lot.